said something to me interesting recently. They said that maybe if I stopped strength training, that the weight loss might be faster on Mounjaro. And I was confused for a minute, but then I realized that so many people are being told this, especially women over 40. So today we're going to talk about my recent dose increase, fatigue, thyroid, and the strength training myth. Let's get into it. Hi, friends. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I'm Fallon. I'm a nurse practitioner, dual board certified in both psychiatric care and primary care. And this is my real unscripted Mounjaro journey. I've had bariatric surgery. I'm post VSG or post vertical sleeve gastrectomy. I have hypothyroidism. I lift weights, and I'm testing to see what happens when the GLP-1 therapy meets my real life midlife metabolism. No filters, no drama, just data and honesty. Quick disclaimer here. I am a nurse practitioner, but I am not your nurse practitioner. This information that I discuss here on this channel is for educational purposes only. Please discuss your personal health care with your provider. Come up with a plan with your personal provider, okay? I just wanted to say that, all right? So let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about week 4. This week, I increased my dose from 2.5 milligrams to 5 milligrams. Now you ask, well, why the increase? Some people, may do that because the food noise comes back or their appetite increases, but this is actually my plan. The plan that me and my provider came up with is to start with 2.5, to do that for 4 weeks, and then to do the 5 milligrams for the next 4 weeks. Now, this is my week 4 video, but I started a week early to talk about like what I was feeling throughout the weeks. So technically, I just did my 5 milligram dose. Now, I'm trying to think, for me, doing the first dose of 5 milligrams, I didn't notice a change right away. I will tell you that the one thing I did notice was fatigue the day of my injection. We talked about this before in the last video, where I was starting to notice a trend, a pattern, that the day of my injection, which again is Wednesdays for me, that's what I choose, the middle of the week, I have noticed the fatigue that happens. Now, it's not, crazy fatigue, like as soon as I do the injection, I have to go and lay down or take a nap. But it's just that by the end of the day, I definitely don't have the same amount of energy that I do on non-shot days. So I feel like I can't quite do a lot. Maybe I can get my workout in, maybe not. And usually I just am ready to go to sleep pretty early in the night. I have been pretty consistent with going to bed at about 11:30. But on shot days, I think I probably sometimes get into bed around 9:30, and I may not fall asleep right away, but I'm definitely feeling drained. So that's the only thing I've noticed. I have not noticed any nausea, vomiting, anything like that. I did have an episode this past week where I think I ate too fast and I had a really bad stomach ache. But I think the culprit was that I really ate too fast because I was running out the door to do something, and usually I take my time and eat my breakfast and get it in. So I think that was the culprit. I have not had that since. I didn't have it today at all or yesterday, and so I just really think that it was a one-time thing. As for feeling full or the food noise, my appetite's pretty much the same. I really do not feel hungry. I feel like I'm pretty consistent with my meal, like we've talked about before. So I kind of just eat to know that I'm getting my protein, my fiber, and my hydration in. Pretty much that's it. So protein goal is still 125 milligrams. I always say milligrams. 125 grams of protein. I I kind of reach that sometimes, but most of the time I'm in the 90s or low hundreds. And that's okay. Like it doesn't have to be like 125 is a really lofty goal of protein intake. Some nutritionists will tell you, 90 milligrams is good, up to 100 is good. I'm just giving myself that goal to like reach, you know, to have something to obtain. And if I don't, and if I get close to it, then I feel good about it. I don't, get upset at myself or try to force myself to eat anything. No, I just at least want to get to almost 100 for the day. Fiber is still 25 grams. I pretty much hit that daily, but that's also because I take a fiber supplement and probiotic and prebiotic daily. So that at least makes sure that I get about 12 grams of fiber in that. And then I can just add on to it with fruits and vegetables and stuff during the day. One of the main things that I'm eating right now, I know I've been talking about my umami eggs, my Korean eggs, but and that's something I'm still eating. But one of the other things that I've been doing lately is cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, blackberries, blueberries, and flaxseed. Amazing. A little dash of stevia in it, and it is amazing. You're getting fiber with the flaxseed and the berries. You're getting antioxidants with the berries, especially the dark berries, and then you're getting the protein with the Greek yogurt and the cottage cheese. It's kind of a little bit salty with the cottage cheese, but mostly sweet, and it just gives you a little treat for the day. And that has been a game changer as well. Even when my belly was hurting that day, I could still eat that and know that I was getting in some good nutrition. So that's a great idea too. If you just are like, what can I just feel like I can only eat one big snack right now or one big lunch right now. What can I do? Pile on that stuff on top of each other, like high protein, like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese if you like cottage cheese, but I happen to like it, berries, flaxseed, chia seed, whatever. Kind of mix it up, and you can even put your collagen powder in there. If collagen powder is something that you use, because that gives you a little bit of protein too. And just kind of mix that all together and have a good snack. And if you're not feeling hungry for the next couple of hours, look at the power packed um, meal that you've had that can hit all of those macros for you. So, just a suggestion if you're into that kind of thing. Cravings, nope, still haven't had any cravings for anything. I just really stick to a regular diet of what I eat all the time because I'm not really hungry. And if it was up to me to go, what do I feel like eating like I used to live? I wouldn't eat anything I would ever eat, which is not a good thing. You have to eat on your GLP-1 injection. On this medication, you have to eat. Your body is not going to know what to use and what to burn if you don't give it fuel. So you must eat. Now, to go back to dosing a little bit, one thing I want you to remember is that we talked about this in the first video as well, low and slow. Going low and slow with the dose increase is important. It's not increasing your dose is not just about how much weight can I lose, right? Yes, we know that's the ultimate goal is getting the weight under control and getting healthy. But the dosing has to go slower. Like you shouldn't be jumping doses really fast because this allows your body to acclimate to the dose, to get used to it, to slowly start using the medication, building up a tolerance for it, so that when you start to increase, you don't initiate any new side effects like nausea or vomiting or even constipation or diarrhea. Any of those things, if you're going low and slow, your body can adapt and adjust a lot better than if you just 5, 10, 15, within a couple of weeks' time. Okay? Again, speak with your provider about this, but low and slow is really good. Slow titration helps with protecting your lean muscle mass. Remember, because if you are going up too fast and you're losing weight too rapidly, it can really hurt your muscles because your muscles start to waste because the weight is trying to pull from everywhere, not just your fat, but also your muscle. And so low and slow is best to protect that lean muscle mass and also to prevent any of those GI symptoms that we talked about, or gastrointestinal symptoms, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation. Okay? Now, this week I did hit a goal that I wanted to hit, my own personal goal. And I did lose 10 pounds. So I'm at 10 pounds lost as of now. And I'm really excited about that. But understand that I am a post VSG patient. So I have restriction working on my behalf, as well as the GLP-1 working on my behalf, as well as having PCOS, metabolic syndrome, where my inflammation was increased as well. So it all of that is going to start improving, which can make me lose weight a little bit faster. Okay? That is not everyone's story, and that is normal. It is normal to lose between 1 and 2 pounds a week, sometimes a half a pound to 1.5 pounds a week. Okay? So that is normal. It is a normal range. You do not have to lose a certain amount of weight after 4 weeks. Okay? But everybody's individual situation is different. And so if you're a post-vertical sleeve gastrectomy patient, if you have any other issues, like you have a lot of inflammation in your body, maybe you have autoimmune diseases or anything like that, you may see a shift a lot different than someone who doesn't, because not only is it clearing up your inflammation, but it's also maybe clearing up, regulating your metabolic system, and you have restriction if you're a bariatric patient. Okay, so keep that in mind when I'm talking about things. I'm not giving my weight loss goal to brag about it. I'm just being honest about where I am in the journey. And I watched that scale go up and down during that 4 weeks. One day I could be down, 6 pounds, and the next day I went back up to only down 7 pounds. The fluid shifts and the working out and my body trying to hold on and not ready to let go. That is all normal. And so getting through that roller coaster of all of that, documenting that, and knowing that that's normal is important. So I have seen a definite stall, then go back, then stall, then lose a couple pounds, then stall, then come back. So that is how I ended up at, and right now, consistently holding at a 10-pound loss. I want to hit on again that post-injection fatigue that I had talked about in the beginning, and how I was feeling that, and kind of start trending and tracking that the last few injections, and noticed that that was a thing. It was a real thing happening to me. So I can solidly say that that was a side effect that I have after my injection. If you feel tired, if you're on a GLP journey and you start to feel tired 24 to 48 hours after your injection, that is normal. It does not mean that something's wrong, or that the injection is causing anything bad, or that it's not working or anything like that. That is a side effect, and I have experienced it. I still do my injection in the morning, sometimes afternoon, but I don't do it at night. And I still plan on continuing to do that. What I'm doing is just resting. At the end of the day, if that's how my body is responding to the medication, because the medication is getting in there and it's working and it's increasing the level of medication in my system, then I'm going to let it do what it does. Okay? I'm going to rest. That's what I do. I make sure I'm hydrated. I make sure I get my protein in, my electrolytes in, and I'll talk about it in a minute, electrolytes. I want to hit on that, but I want to finish this thought before I forget it. I will make sure that I am good nutritionally that day, and then go to bed early and get rest. And every single time so far, knock on wood, I have been fine the next day. I have this energy the next day. I don't feel tired. I don't feel fatigued, and I'm good the next day. That's not everyone, but I can tell you that's how I feel after I get a good night's sleep, but I may just need to go to sleep earlier. Remember, fatigue is normal. If you feel chronically exhausted while you're on the medication, that's a different story. Please talk to your provider if you're consistently fatigued, consistently exhausted, and your energy is just zapped throughout the whole month. of being on the medication or the whole entire week, that is something to talk to your provider about, okay? I wanted to hit on electrolytes again and what that looks like for me too. I know some people that I have seen, or some of the videos I've seen, or research that I've seen about, how people do their electrolytes. Some people have a whole bottle, of electrolytes. They put one of those packets in and they drink that throughout the day. That's not how I get my electrolytes in. The way I do it is I have about a cup of electrolyte drink like Gatorade or Propel, or some electrolyte beverage, okay? And about a cup of that, and then I mix. It's cold. Let me say this first. The electrolyte drink that I'm drinking is cold. Now, some people use the packets. I don't. I just use something already prepared, okay? But if you do that, use some cold water, mix up your electrolyte. For me, I drink my electrolytes cold, a cup, and I mix in my probiotic, prebiotic, and fiber with it. Shake that up, and I drink that at the end of the night. This is what I do. Remember, I am not your doctor and I'm not your provider. I'm just telling you what I do. The reason I do that is because I can make sure I get that in every day consistently and not have a variability of like, oh, I didn't have electrolytes today because I didn't really feel like I needed them, or oh, I forgot to do my fiber, or I forgot to do this. Nope. Consistently every night I have 1 cup of sometimes a little less than a cup of the electrolyte drink, and I pour in my prebiotic, probiotic, and fiber supplement. That is all one, and I shake that up and I drink it. Now the reason that I do that cold is because if I were to do that with a room temperature or a warm beverage, it would kill the probiotics and prebiotics. Okay, I put it in, shake it up, it dissolves really easily. Down that, it's almost like a synergistic hydration bomb doing that. Like it makes the hydration work better. It can make the probiotics work better, the fiber work better. So that's how I do it. Excuse me. Please do what it is that your doctor or provider tells you to do, or recommends for you. But this is what I do. It works for me, and I know I can be consistent with it. So, what's the update on my thyroid? As I discussed in the last video, you can go and watch that video if you want to know more about the thyroid. I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. My levels were about 5.8, and I was started on 50 micrograms of levothyroxine. I have been taking that religiously, like I'm supposed to, every single day, and I haven't, clinically, I probably won't see a difference, maybe in a few weeks, maybe a month or so. But physically, I have noticed that my energy is a little bit better. I am not like dozing off at the end of the day. I definitely have noticed an improvement in my fatigue. Aside from the fatigue I feel on injection days, like it is nothing like it was. I am not taking a nap in the middle of the day. Even if I lay down or something like that, I don't normally fall asleep. Like I just kind of rest and scroll like we do, but not really falling asleep like I was before. So that's a good improvement. My energy's better, so I know that it's working how it should. I never had any problems with my skin itching or being cold intolerant or getting overheated or any problems with like constipation or anything like that. So the only thing I was showing for my thyroid at that time was the fatigue. And so that has started to clear up, and I'm hopeful that it's going to clear up altogether. I don't know how much the starting the medication helped with the weight loss this week. It may have had something to do with it, but I'm probably thinking that just based on how the medication works, the half-life of the medication, that in about 3 or 4 weeks or so, I may start to see an impact on weight loss with it. And so we'll just have to wait and see what happens then. Okay, welcome to the Clinical Corner. We're going to talk about the strength training myth. So let's talk about strength training. I had a question or comment last week, which was a great question and comment, I thought, and I was really glad that someone brought it up. They talked about how lifting weights, because I talk about strength training, could possibly, excuse me, affect my hormones, and that maybe it would be better for me to lean down and lose weight first, and then add strength training later. And I thought this was a really good topic to talk about, especially when we're talking about people in midlife, and especially personally me talking about women in midlife that are taking a GLP-1 or struggling with weight loss. This is really, really an important subject, and I was so glad, thank you, my viewer, for bringing that up and talking about that because it's such an important point. So let's break down one of the myths here that lifting slows your weight loss. And why might the scale weight shift and appear slower? Why does it appear that maybe you've stalled or that you've gained weight? Why does it come out this way? Well, let's talk about it. So our muscles are metabolically active tissue. Our muscles are active tissues, okay? So losing muscle when you start to lose rapid weight loss starts to lower your metabolic rate. So as you're losing muscle, when you're on a weight loss journey, when you're on a GLP-1, it can slow your metabolic rate. Now, don't even put in and tie in, perimenopause, hormone shifts. If you have metabolic disease like diabetes, any of these other things that can just keep you from losing weight, PCOS, any of those things. Hypothyroidism, right? We talked about that as well. So rapid weight loss increases that muscle loss risk, okay? And you are losing weight at a more rapid pace when you're on a GLP-1, and it's not so much that it's rapid as it is consistent. When we are working out on our own or changing our diet on our own, sometimes we slip and we lose a little weight, and then we stall for a little bit, and then we might lose a little bit more, and then we gain some back. But when you're on a GLP-1, because of that appetite suppression, that fullness longer, all of the things it does with the inflammation and the receptors and all of those things in the gut, it can cause you to have consistent weight loss. That's the point, right? To get to a healthy BMI, okay? But as we're doing that and we're losing the muscle, we're slowing the metabolic rate. Now, how a GLP-1 ties into this is that the GLP-1 improves insulin sensitivity. It helps the body use insulin more effectively. Resistance training, okay, improves insulin sensitivity as well. So they complement each other. They don't compete with each other. So if you're getting a better insulin response in your body from the GLP-1, if you add strength training or resistance training, you're getting a double whammy on that, and you're getting even better insulin sensitivity and lowering that insulin resistance. Okay? So moderate strength training does not spike cortisol into fat storage mode. It does not do all of those things. Overtraining is different than structured lifting. If you overtrain, you can cause some problems. But if you are doing some structured, moderate training with weights or with resistance training, you are actually boosting or helping the benefit of the GLP-1. Now, that is not the only reason, especially why midlife women should not be working out. Another reason is because estrogen declines in women as we get older, as we hit perimenopause, as we hit menopausal age and go through that. Remember, menopause and perimenopause can last for up to 10 years, especially for women of color. Okay, so this is a long-standing journey we're going through, and as you're going through those estrogen shifts and that estrogen level is dropping, your sarcopenia risk is increased. What does sarcopenia mean? It means that bone loss, the bone death of bone cells and the loss of bone strength happens in that time frame. Okay? That's why we start to look at osteoporosis screenings as we start to get older and looking at our bone density and making sure that everything's good with that because we start to lose estrogen. And when that happens, we start to lose bone. Okay? Muscle preservation, right? What is muscle preservation? Strength training, building muscle, resistance training, all of those are protective against bone loss. So in the long term, as we are working out and doing some resistance training and strength training as women, as those estrogen levels are going down, if we are strength training, we're counteracting that bone loss and protecting the bone loss, maybe even stopping it or decreasing it because we're building muscle. Okay? We're only doing that if we're building muscle. For me personally, I'm not trying to be skinny. I'm not trying to be just smaller. I'm not trying to be super thin or some type of model. I'm trying to be strong at 45 and strong at 50. Okay? I want to not have a high incidence of frailty. I don't want to have to worry about falling and breaking a bone. I do not want to have to worry about osteoporosis or worrying about shrinking too much, like having vertebrae or back issues and spine issues because of compression fractures or different things like that. I want to have strong bones, and I also want to have strong muscle. And so that is why I'm strength training as well as using the GLP-1, because I know that that's going to give me the best outcome. And also, let's just be vain for a minute. Let's just talk vanity, okay? As we are gaining weight, listen, look at this. As we're gaining weight, I'm being really real, we are stretching our skin, okay? And as you can see, my arms have been stretched out since I was a kid. Like, I've always been overweight, okay? As you lose weight, look at that. As the fat loss happens, so does the skin, right? The skin comes, the extra skin comes. Listen, but if you can see now that I'm getting a little bit of definition in my arm from lifting the weight, that is not necessarily not going to be there. I am not going to necessarily get rid of all of that skin, but I can reduce the amount of extra skin that I have by building my muscle and reconfiguring and restructuring my body, okay? Instead of everything just looking flabby and me looking like sunken in and sick and just everything starts to flab, I can build those muscles underneath so that I have some definition in my body. And that's another reason. Even if you just want to do it for a vanity reason, that's reason enough. But think of all the health benefits you'll get from also doing it, especially if you're a woman in midlife. Now, what that looks like for me as far as training, I try to do 3 to 4 days a week. I've done a lot of studies and reading and watching videos about it from specialists. And a lot of people, the consensus is 3 good strength training days a week is great. I'm really into using the kettlebell right now. I'm enjoying that. I have free weights as well, but the kettlebell I'm really enjoying and trying to learn some of the moves there because, listen, I'm all about getting the bang for your buck. So if I can do a couple of moves that work all of these muscles at one time, that's great for me because time is limited. I don't have all the time in the world to work out, right? And so, running a busy practice and being a mom and a wife and having other businesses and all of those things keep me busy. And so having the time to work out, but work out effectively is important. And so I don't know if you guys are looking for a workout routine, I would just recommend starting some kettlebells if that's something you're interested in. I have really enjoyed it and can see a difference in my body so far and my strength and ability. So that's something to think about. Side note there. But like I said, we're talking about like how do I fit that into my life. That's how I do it. 15, 20-minute workout, going hard, lifting heavy. I have a 14-pound kettlebell, and I'm looking to get a 20-pound kettlebell, a 25-pound kettlebell. And I think I'm good there for now. Be consistent with that. And then when that begins to get too light for me, then I can go up in my weight. But it's the consistency that matters, not so much the weight. But you don't, to get the most out of your workout, you need to be lifting a little bit heavy and you can do less reps with a heavy weight than doing 20 and 25 reps with a low weight, because like that's a lot of time, and if you don't have a lot of time, lifting heavy is better. If you are able, if you are not in a healthy place to lift weights or do any resistance training at all, don't do it. Walk. If you can't walk, if you have limited mobility, you can get a one of those stationary foot bikes that you can just that go under a desk and just pedal. There are videos on YouTube on how to do chair workouts. You can use little cans of canned food, canned peas or canned corn, and do some resistance training, some weight training there. Whatever you can do, whatever you're able to do it. And as you get better, you can do more. And it is okay. And don't feel ashamed about that. There's nothing wrong with starting slow and getting better. That is great. It's wonderful because you'll be able to see your improvements and make goals along the way. So don't feel like I'm talking about resistance training or strength training and that it's something you can't do. Whatever you can do, do it. Start. Just start. I got sidetracked with that because I get really passionate about encouraging people to start where they can, okay? But again, how it looks for me, 3 to 4 days a week, I do about 15 to 20 minutes. I try to do about 15 reps um, 3 times, sometimes just twice on each arm or each side or each exercise, and that is how I do it. And that's how I'm consistent with it. And I keep track of the days I work out, and I give myself a break the day after, and a recovery day, and then I might do some walking. I might get in a pool or something like that. But other than that, just doing the workout and the weight training for those 3 to 4 days a week. I hope this video has been helpful to you. I'm so glad that you guys are along with me on this journey. Please don't forget to like or subscribe, to share this video if you know someone going through a GLP-1 journey, just starting, if you're just starting. If you're thinking about a GLP-1 journey, please look into your healthcare provider, look into whether your insurance will cover it for you, and that's great if they do. If they don't, there are other telehealth options out there. Mochi Health is one of the ones I've heard really good things about, as well as LEMD, that's ELLIEMD. I've done some study and research on those two, and I know that they're pretty good companies to work with. I'm sure there are so many more that I have no idea about. I'm still learning about some, but those are ones that I've really done some research into and feel like they're a good program for people who may not be able to use any of the insurance-based options. All right. I'm so glad you're here, my friends. I'm so glad we're building a good community here where we can ask questions and talk with each other and kind of share this journey. I want to share the raw journey with you of how it's going, so you can know what to expect and what's normal and what's not. And coming from a clinician perspective as well as being a patient. Now, next week, we're going to talk about perimenopause and GLP-1s. And it might be one of the most interesting metabolic tools that women in their 40s and older can use at this time in their life. All right? You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. Come back and see the next video. Thank you for being with me, friends. I'll see you in the next one.